So I'm a self-proclaimed writer and poet. And like a lot of writers, I sometimes get downloads of random sets of words in my brain. It'll come usually when I'm first waking up or when I'm about to go to sleep. I'll just get a sentence usually. And it'll make no sense to me at all at the time when I first get it. But over time, it'll start to come together and I'll see why I got that download. A few months ago, I got a download and it said, "This is the last of a dying thing." And at the time, I was like, I don't know what that means. I don't know why I'm thinking that. It would not go away. Every single day, I would be like, this is the last of a dying thing. And usually it would surface to the top of my brain when I saw a news headline of all of the crazy stuff that's going on right now. Like, I would read the news headline and then my brain would automatically rationalize it as, this is the last of a dying thing. Don't worry, like, fear not. This is the last of a dying thing. And it really made me, like, the more and more I had that thought, the more I thought about A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, I think is his name. I read that book a few months ago, and it just talked about how all of these egoic structures that for the last few hundred years we've built our world around, capitalism, tribalism, xenophobia, all these things, racism, they're not going to go forward in the same way that they've always been, because simply like egoic structures like that can't survive. And when I say egoic, I mean structures that are built around the ego or centered around the ego. So we all have an ego as individuals, and then as countries, as races of people, we can have egos as well. And we can use those egos through those egoic patterns and thought processes, we act out, basically. We try to grab, gimme, build, stomp on other people's to reinforce our own egos as individuals and as countries and as groups of people. And in that book, he talks a lot about how those structures just simply can't survive, because although they have taught us what they need to teach us for the time that they've been existing, but the time for them is coming to an end. And it really resonated with me, and I feel like the words, "this is a dying thing," have been on my brain because as you look out into the world, you can't help but see the desperation of the current structures that are in place right now. They're fighting really, really, really hard to stay alive. Like, think of like an animal that's being hunted, right? Like an animal's shot or something in the forest, like a deer. And what does it do in the last few moments before it dies, right? It gasps for air, trying desperately to stay alive, to cling on to anything that'll keep it alive. It squirms, right? It cries. It does anything to stay alive. It does anything to be heard, for help, for people to come in and make it stronger and save it, right? So as we're seeing all of these structures that have conquered our world they're strengthening right now. So it may not look like it's dying, right? They're strengthening themselves. They're building an audience. They're gaining membership, like they're recruiting. They're gaining strength in a lot of ways. It can appear that way. But think about how hard they have to defend themselves. Think about how much effort they have to put into squashing dissent. Think about how much they have to repeat the manufactured narratives that they're giving us, right? Something that's alive and thriving and doing well and proliferating and growing, it doesn't need to do that. It doesn't need to work so hard to establish itself and strengthen itself. The things that are natural and divine in this world come so easily, and like a flood, they happen before we know it, in a blink of an eye. It doesn't need all this effort. It doesn't need think tanks. It doesn't need dominance and aggression. It doesn't need so much effort to happen. And I feel like as we're seeing this growth of these domineering forces in the world, whether it be governments, whether it be religions, fighting to maintain their dominance, a feeling is rising up that I think a lot of us feel, which is, we're not going for this anymore. We're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to stand for the status quo anymore. And that feeling is becoming so prevalent in at least the circles I'm in and the people I'm talking to. Everyone sees things a lot clearer now, and we see things for what they are. So, I just got that message, and I felt the need to share it, because as we're going forward in these, it's going to get messy. It's going to continue to be as messy as it is right now. If not, it's going to get worse, actually. And these forces that are in power right now are going to get stronger, and they're going to get more brazen in their aggression. And as they do, we need to remember to stay around like-minded people who share the same vision of the future as we do. We need not to create an echo chamber around ourselves, but to build that future together. It takes numbers. It takes work, right? And as we do that, we have to remember to create a sense of safety within ourselves, because the world right now is going to blah, 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 like throw out fear onto us, cast out fear onto us, so that we stay small and we don't think for ourselves and strengthen our own spirits and souls and communities. So within our communities and within our individual selves, we need to make sure that we're providing a sense of inner safety. So no matter what we see in the world, we're not going to be deterred. We're not going to be slowed down, and we're not going to give in to fear. And we also need to grow strong. We need to strengthen our God-given talents and skills, and the ways that we give back to our communities. We need to make sure that we're learning, we're reading. And if you choose, you feel like your role may be a physical role, we're working out, we're getting strong, we're staying healthy, we're doing whatever we need to do, right? So I feel like that's something that's been on my brain for a while to share, and I feel like a lot of people need to hear it. This is the last of a dying thing. The world is not going to be like this forever. It will not be like this for our children if we so choose. If we stay focused and we are undeterred by the forces that are trying to dominate right now. The thing I feel like is happening is like people are saying the veil is thinning. The veil is not there anymore. Everything is what it is now. If you're seeing a corrupt government be boldly corrupt, that's because they don't care anymore. They're just doing what they always have been doing under the covers. They're just doing it in daylight now. And the good thing about the truth is that even in individual relationships, even within yourself, once you know the truth, you can then decide what you're going to do about it. So what are we about to do about it?